All right, we are live today. I have a very special guest. This is Sandra Wyllie, and she has a YouTube channel where she talks about her experiences as a patient who lives with borderline personality disorder and has faced various traumas throughout her life. She's very open and vulnerable on her channel. But before we get into anything, neither of us are medical professionals. We are both just two patients talking about our experiences and, to help further destigmatize mental health issues. So if you want to tell people a little bit about your background and what inspired all that.
Sure. Okay. The channel was a karaoke channel, believe it or not, where I
actually some of your earlier videos were way different. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Where I would put a karaoke song on with follow the bouncing ball, and sing to the background music. And I'd love to dress. I'm very dramatic. I'm very creative. I love to play dress up, and I still play dress up in the karaoke videos. The different wig, blonde, long, short, red, bob. The whole works. Yeah. Different costumes, lingeries, and it just had a ball. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I wasn't getting many subscribers, and I did it for like 2 years. And I thought, I'd love to be monetized. People make a lot of money. People can earn, like, some people are millionaires. Yeah, from this stuff. I mean, ordinary people. Christine Randall, I don't know if you heard about her. She does crime stories and everything. She had a horrific, I don't even go into the whole story, horrific childhood, very traumatic and abusive. She was in jail for 3 years. She got out of jail. She couldn't find a job because everyone judges you on your past. So she did a YouTube channel, right? Now she's a millionaire. She's got, if you get like over 1 million subscribers or something, you can be a millionaire. And so I thought,
even with way less than that, people like sell ads and stuff. Like,
right.
So did you? So at what point did you switch to doing like the mental health focused content?
So I said, you know what? I'm not going to cut it as karaoke. Okay. I just don't have the voice. I'm not going to cut it. So let me think of something else, like another medium I could do. And I go, well, what can I do? And then I thought, geez, I have quite a background. I've written a lot of books. I've had sex with psychologists. I've been sexually abused by psychologists, verbally, physically, emotionally. Wow. I've had a schizophrenic father who was in and out of mental institutions my whole life. My mother was narcissistic, who beat me to a pulp, abused me horrifically in horrendous ways.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So anyway, I was thinking, I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I have anxiety disorder. I have OCD. I have like, why don't I do a mental health channel? Because, I personally, I have borderline personality disorder. Okay. My father's schizophrenic. My mother's narcissistic. So, and I got all this, 58 years old. I have quite a background of mental illness with myself and my family. So, and I love psychology too.
Yeah. So you have that like wealth of experience to like draw. And it's like, that's like, for me with my channel, it's been all over the place. I make videos about things I'm interested in, but I also really wanted to make videos specifically about like my issues with addiction and mental health, because I know like there are points where I turned to the internet and those videos other people put out really helped me. It helps to hear from other people who've been through it like that.
Exactly.
It's one thing to see like the professionals, but it really can be a healing process to talk to other people who have been through these similar experiences that are so isolating when you're going through them. And maybe the people around you are able to support you in the way that you need, And,
they can only understand it from your level, not like a doctor's level. Like I had alcohol addiction too, only late in life too. I never was a heavy drinker.
That doesn't happen. I've heard of that happening to some people.
Really?
And I never drank, and then like something happened, and they reached for the bottle and throw it back.
That's exactly what happened to me. I was sexually abused by psychologists, and I started turning to alcohol. I never drank vodka in my life. Then I started drinking vodka every single day. I started drinking like a cup or a cup and a half of vodka every single day. I never even touched vodka in my whole life. It was crazy. So, yeah.
Were you using it to self-medicate?
Self-medicate, definitely self-medicate. And then I started doing, can I say pornography? The
Oh
only,
yeah, I've talked about my past. I've done stuff of that
I did
sort.
sex work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
done that. So I figured I have a lot of stuff and I want to share it with people. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not,
Me
you
neither.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You should be proud because it's like I feel like what really makes a person is like how far you've come from where you started and the obstacles you faced. It's not where you're at in comparison to everyone else because some people have just vastly easier lives. That's just
right,
the
exactly.
unfair nature of life. So, but as someone who goes through mental health issues, I know how hard it is just day-to-day functioning. And a
Exactly.
lot like I still very greatly struggle with my day-to-day functioning, like especially with keeping up with like chores, cleanliness, and things like that. I tend to really, really struggle with still. But so how have you found like what's your experience been with like treatment that works for you? Have you tried medication or like therapy? I mean, obviously those
Therapy
you've had
is
some troubles in
my
those.
biggest regret. My biggest regret in life is going to therapy. It ruined
You
my
know,
life.
there's more people coming out against therapy and how it can actually cause rumination and cause you to focus on like depending on how the therapist operates, but we have such an affirmation, like always affirm the patient, whatever they're saying is valid. But
Right, right.
you know, a good therapist will push you back and challenge you and help you find a better way of thinking, you know. But what's out there now, I had a therapist for like 6 years and then I relapsed on crack. She dropped me. She was there with me through my brother's death. She was with me through my family.
That's abandonment. That's
Yeah.
unethical. She
At the
abandoned
worst point, I had just lapsed on crack one night. She cut me off. Psychiatrist cut me off. They said I was a liability and I needed a higher level of care, but I wasn't willing to go into a rehab for various reasons at that point. And it was had just been a one-time thing then. And then I spiraled into 3 years of fentanyl and crack addiction, you know,
I'm
that I'm
really
just coming
sorry
out of.
that she did that. You know, I definitely think she contributed to you spiraling, you know, her
I
abandonment.
mean, it would have been a good fucking time to have some stability, some medication,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like someone, you know, because I just went off the rails. I just totally went off the rails, and it was a rejection and disappointment that like made me feel like, whoa, like my therapist is firing me. I must
I
be
know that's horrible. And I've had many therapists kick me out in an email, in a one sentence email after years. I don't want to work with you anymore. Other ones saying
hurtful.
you got too much on your plate. Like, duh, what the hell is your job?
This is what they fucking do. They just pass patients around from person to person, say, you need a higher level of care, not my problem. You need a higher
Right.
level of care,
Yeah,
not my problem.
yeah.
You need a higher level of care, not my problem.
Right.
There is no higher level of fucking care out there. They
Yeah,
just
exactly.
burn you down until you give up. That's it. That's how it works right now. It's disgusting.
That's
Honestly.
why I'm against the whole friggin' system. You know, yeah, I don't go to therapy anymore. I haven't gone to therapy in almost 3 years.
Do you do any medication right now? Because I'm on a couple things, but
2 glasses of wine, I've cut back to.
I mean, if that's what works for you, and listen,
2 glasses of
different things
wine
work,
from like
you know,
from all that.
different things work for different people. So it's like the point is, are you living a life that's manageable, that you can find happiness in? That should
Um,
be your guiding light, you know?
I'm really on my way to it. I mean, I write every day. I do my videos, so I'm making money off my books on Amazon. I'm making money off my YouTube. I'm not rich on my YouTube, but I'm
But
making.
still,
Yeah,
you do have, it's hard to get
starting.
those initial few thousand subs. So getting
Right.
any of that is impressive because you're fighting in the market of millions of content creators, you know?
Exactly. You're doing
So,
awesome. Like you have like over 6,000. Did I read that
uh,
right? Over
yeah, it took a
6,000.
while. I've had like, you know, a couple boosts here and there just from like, you know, some lucky breaks, but yeah, it's a good feeling to know that anyone relates to my content, let alone 6,000 people. That's crazy, you know.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's no small feat to do that, and you have to be committed and uploading
It is.
regularly.
I upload every day. It's a commitment. You
Mhm.
upload. You have to think of a topic. What am I going to talk about on this video? You know. Then you have to do the video, edit the video, and
It's
then
like a job.
market
It
it.
is a
Yeah,
job. It's a
it's
job,
a
you
job.
know.
Yeah, I'm getting paid. It's a job. Not
Yeah.
paid big, but I'm hoping to accelerate. I'm hoping to get bigger,
Yeah, any kind of like, because that can be good, like passive income. Because if you have those videos, you can run ads on it, and all
Right,
those things add up. And like, I don't know if you do like, I have a Patreon. I think I have like one person as my Patreon right now, but like,
I used to do Patreon until they kicked me out. Get this, Patreon kicked me out, right? And I'm not supposed to say the last word on YouTube. They kicked me out too. Can you
shut
believe? No
up.
one believes me. No one. I said, yes, they kicked me out because
Wow.
they had only, you know what it is, only rhymes with tans. I'm afraid. Okay. They
I've
said,
had an OnlyFans too, so
right. But they told me there's only two things that you can place inside you. I don't know if I can use graphic terms, so
I'm already demonetized, so I don't really care right now.
I don't want to get you in trouble or anything, but the one thing is, okay, I'll say a penis, and the next thing is a vibrator or dildo. Anything else you cannot use, and they will kick you out. Now, I watch other girls' stuff because I'm trying to get ideas for my own, right?
Yeah.
And I see girls using beer bottles, using, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, when you look at what the other
ideas.
girls are doing, you're like, I'm not doing that. Like, not a chance, maybe for the right dollar,
Right, the right
like,
dollar. But I was trying to, because it wasn't working. They kept wanting more and different things, and they kept, they wanted me with other people. And I said, I don't want to. I have cheated on my husband. I've had affairs. I'm not going to deny it, but I didn't want to go that way now. You know what I mean? I wanted to be faithful. I'm trying to improve my life. But
same.
So anyway, once I did those other videos that all the other women did with other things, sorry,
Hey.
you're
Wow. Dang.
It's all right, because now I don't want to do that anymore. I'm at a place where
Same. I was doing it up until like I got clean, because I was waitressing and also doing like OnlyFans and other
right, yeah, because
just like create custom content. I was doing shit like that
right,
to support my drug habit, so it was but I had also done webcam for a while when I wasn't on drugs, and like I still found it to maybe not be the best thing for me, because it's like I want to be spending my time on this planet engaging in positivity and productive things, and like I don't think it's wrong to do any sex work, but I just feel like it's not maybe the best use of what I could do on this planet, like, and I don't feel like it's very good for me on a spiritual level, and also I want to try to be healthier in my approach to sex in general. So
hello, you froze. You're frozen. Hello. Uh-oh. I hope this is still going on.
Now it's back. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Okay.
That budget lifestyle, that budget internet, I guess.
I'm not a tech person. My husband's the tech geek in the family. I know nothing of.
So do you live with your husband, right? Is it just the two of
I
you?
live with my husband and my youngest son, Austin, because he's studying to be a doctor, and he's ton deep in student loans. So he works full time. Yeah, he works full time, goes to school full time, and he lives at home to, And
well,
then
that's smart. Good for him.
Thanks. And then I have a traumatic brain injured son, my handicapped son, Alex. And the reason why I turned into a complete alcoholic is he was beaten severely by a staff member at his residence. Yeah. I mean, imagine.
I was watching a video about that, and I have a similar experience with relatives being abused in those situations, and it's people you're supposed to trust them with.
Right. Yeah. And I just broke. I almost drank a whole bottle of vodka, and I wanted to end it all then. So it was one of the lowest points in my life.
Jeez, of course. I mean, for any mother to go through something like that and see your child, first off, when you thought they were being taken care of, so you trusted someone, it's a violation of trust. And then to just on a human level have to see your son hurt, I'm very sorry.
And at the same time, my shrink he just completely ignored me and didn't want nothing to do with it.
Dude,
So
people
he's
were way
coming
really
back.
leaving you at the worst times. It's
Yep,
just
yep. They always will. It's
this is why I tend to, like, if I'm not doing well, I tend to just isolate myself and just block out the world, because I've had too many experiences of, you know, just kind of feeling like I'm a burden, or like I don't, or like I'm just annoying people. And like sometimes that's the fucking truth, because people are living their lives and like they don't want to deal with, you know, whatever crisis bullshit, you know.
that is true. Unfortunately, it's true. It's sad that it's that way, you know.
So you've been managing without any medication right now?
2 glasses of wine.
Just well,
I'm being honest.
most people drink 2 glasses of wine. That's fine. But so right
Yeah.
now I'm only on gabapentin, methadone, and Effexor. But usually I've been thinking again about, do I need to be on mood stabilizers? Because I've had such crazy like mood swings lately, and like I handling a breakup kind of not
Yeah,
in the
you
best
told me
way.
about that. I'm sorry. I'm really
Yeah, I
sorry.
mean it you know, it
Breakups
happens,
suck.
but
They really, yeah.
it's never fun. But yeah, it's hard to.
Whatever gets you, you know, whatever helps you, get you, like like the song, whatever gets you through the night, it's all
Mhm.
right, you know. And it's, you know,
I know. Well, yeah, I've got some benzos that help me ease the pain for now, but
right.
generally it is a challenge. I was on mood stabilizers for many years, and then I was on fentanyl for many years, and now I'm like back to just being me and feeling everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, I am a crazy person who feels everything, like in a kind of not normal way. So how do you deal with those? Because I know we have different issues, but there's always a lot of overlap, you know?
Right,
Like
right.
I've been diagnosed with like bipolar. So I've had these extremes and ups and downs. And like, I don't know if
Well,
I'm, who knows what
borderline is
anything is.
like
But
that too. Borderline and bipolar are similar, you know, with the extremes. Yeah.
yeah. So how are you handling like when you have those extremes? Like, how do you cope with that?
Well, I haven't had many extremes now that I kind of isolate myself away from
Mhm.
people, because people are what cause my extremes, you
I
know.
know. I think I might go through a little isolation period myself.
You know, and then right now I have no friends. I did videos about that. I don't have any friends. I kind of like separate myself from people, and I find peace like that. I really think
Mm.
I'm a loner because
Some people like that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a loner because people cause me so much pain and
Hmm.
heartache and drama.
Yeah.
It just increases my borderline personality disorder. It like brings it out, you know. When I'm away from people, I don't feel like that, you know.
Because a lot of borderline has to do specifically with how your interpersonal relationships go.
Right.
So you found that it's just better for you. Like I see you do have your husband, so it's not like you have no one, you
Right. I
know.
have
You have a
my
you
husband
know.
and my 2 sons. My son,
Yeah, so for some
but
people
other
that's
than that,
plenty, you know, like, and you don't need all these other people, especially if you find that it brings more pain
oh,
and suffering to your life.
oh
Like,
my God, a ton, including best girl pals. If you watch some of my videos, yeah, I don't need that in my old age. No, thank you.
yeah, I just had a kind of like friend fallout recently with a close friend of mine who I had thought had a borderline, and there was definitely some elements to that in our relationship where I'm someone where I shut down and isolate, and I like if people are talking to me, I'd like remove myself from the situation.
Yeah,
And for the borderline person, they want to talk, they want to figure it out, they need to know what's going on.
yeah,
And
yeah.
our different ways of
That's me.
interacting, they clashed so much,
Yeah,
like because we were so different in how we process emotions and how we handle relationships, like that it
you're frozen in a
like,
good pose, though.
oh no, why is
You're in a good
you're
pose.
back. All right, so I don't know, maybe it'll just cut us, whatever, it could be worse. But so how do you, like we were talking about handling like the highs and lows, like
Right.
specifically like the highs are great, so how do you like cope with the lows usually? Like do you have any healthy coping mechanisms
Well,
that you
see,
can recommend?
now I don't have highs and lows.
Hmm.
Okay. since
But
I've,
in the past, maybe.
oh, in the past, I go into psychotic rages.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um,
So have you gone fully psychotic to like lost, um, or do you? It's more just like a on the
well,
cusp of.
I drove drunk and got in a head-on collision.
Oh
Okay.
my
Yeah.
god.
See, I get so psychotic and like,
Mm.
rageful, angry, or
Yes, you're
upset.
just like I don't care. You're on a
I don't
rampage.
give a
Like,
fuck.
yep,
I'm just gonna, like, I know I'm drunk, but I don't care, or I'm
I've
gonna,
done that. Yep.
I've been violent. I've hit people,
Yep.
broken things,
Yep.
broken windows.
I rode my bike onto the freeway the wrong way down the freeway. I drunk drove the wrong way, speeding down a tunnel.
Yeah,
I've been in those moments where this is mostly when I was younger though. So
yeah,
it's like I thought I had evened out a lot, but now that I'm like off mood stabilizers and off drugs for the first time, I'm like questioning like, damn, maybe I need that. But I don't know, because maybe I'm getting by. Like
right.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
So
up and down. You might need more. Sometimes you might need less. Other time, it's just getting to know yourself. You're pretty young,
mhm.
so
Pretty young. So,
you're pretty
getting older every freaking day, man. Oh
Try
my
being
goodness.
my age. Oh God.
Life, people say life is short. Life is kind of long, because I already feel like I've lived a couple lives already, like
Right.
just in this.
Yeah, I know. I get that feeling. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
So how's your do you feel like your husband, well, you said you've been fairly stable. How long have you been in this stable period for? I should ask.
Uh, I'm gonna say maybe the last 6 months,
Oh,
to
good.
be
That's
honest.
that's about the same time as my recent stable
Really? Yeah,
period. So
yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
I was put in this. I went psychotic from fentanyl withdrawal, and
Oh,
I
that
ended up
goes
getting arrested 3 times, and
That's
I ended up being in the psych ward against my will for 2 weeks,
oh
and that
God,
was just
that's not
last June. So coming up almost a year ago now. So but I didn't really start feeling like myself again until maybe like 6 months ago. And that's when I started like making YouTube videos again, and
yeah,
like
yeah. And that's when I
I
started
thought I was
doing the
ready to
mental
start
health,
dating again, but
talking
that
about.
was, you know, maybe not. um, but so do you feel like you've been in this stale period for 6 months? What was did you have like any kind of big event like prior to that? Were you hospitalized or anything? Or it was just
It's
symptomatic?
weird. I never been hospitalized, but I
Mhm.
felt like I was so, like, I've been
Oh
on the
yeah.
edge, like, so damn friggin' close.
Oh yeah.
It
Yep.
was like you could taste it. Like I was,
Mhm.
so friggin' close. But
I mean, the psych wards we have right now, they're so incredibly underfunded and understaffed, and like
uh,
I've had terrible experiences. Plus, I couldn't smoke cigarettes for 2 weeks while I'm in withdrawal,
oh, that
while
drives
I'm
me
not
crazy.
sleeping. Like I was just like walking in circles
I would have
for
been
like
pulling my
7 days.
hair out. That's
I
yeah.
was freaking the fuck out. It was like a very horrific experience. Um,
I would think
but
psych wards would make me crazy. They would make me
they
more
do,
crazy. Yeah.
especially when I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I've had some pretty low moments recently where I was like, should I be in a hospital right now? I don't know. Like, but then I think about what happens when I'm in the hospital. I'm taped to a bed in a white
Yeah.
room,
Yeah.
and I'm not given enough medication. I'm not allowed to smoke. I'm not allowed to eat when I want. There's no
How do
TV.
you
There's no
survive that?
internet.
How did
What's that?
how in the hell did you survive that? Because
Just for
I
the fact that my body just kept living throughout it, even though
I
I
wouldn't
was
be able to. Oh
just
my God.
torturous,
Yeah.
very, and yeah, it was definitely I had such a terrible time with my detox. I had been arrested. Like there's 3 separate times that I was arrested for on different nights. And then on the third one is when they involuntarily committed me. And I'd been like in psych hospitals before, but always for like addiction stuff. So that was my first time
Right.
just like for psych. And it was still like related to addiction, but it was mostly, for psych stuff. Um, so for you, are there any other kind of like lifestyle things you do that have helped you get to this like period of stability? Like
My YouTube videos on talking about what has happened to me on my YouTube videos since
maybe
I
that's the true therapy. Like it's
that's
even
it.
more therapeutic than
Yes,
therapy.
that's it. That's it.
I
Once I
think you're
started
yeah.
doing the mental health channel, talking solely about what's been happening, and about mental health, about my father's schizophrenia, my abuse by my mother, my son, my own borderline, it just everything. I just spill it all out, everything.
Yeah.
You know, it is therapeutic because I am talking, instead of talking to a doctor with a PhD, I'm talking to everyone, anyone who watches, anyone and everyone. And, that is helpful talking, but not just to a shrink.
But and it's also nice. I like the distance you get from having like online friendships. So it's
Yeah,
like you kind of get this like other like social interaction online,
right,
but you can turn it off and like it can
right.
be
You can turn
separate from
it up.
like your real like that's why I like having kind of like my pseudo anonymous channel. Like I tell a lot about my life, but it's under like, a different
A
name and
different name.
I try not to give out too many, identifying details, but um it's yeah, I definitely find it therapeutic to hear that anyone relates to my story. It makes me feel less alone.
Yep.
If I make someone else feel less alone or inspire someone to maybe go get help, like or just let them know that like it's okay if you fucked up everything. Like, I'm starting my life over from nothing at 34.
Right.
Nothing but bad credit, debt.
I've been
Like
there, been there.
so I'm starting from nothing, but I have a lot. I try to focus on the positive and what I have going for me and like I still have an apartment, I didn't lose that, thankfully. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be close, like, with my mom and my little brother, so
Oh, that's
I've got,
awesome.
like, some yeah, and I have some good friends. Actually, one of them, Giggler, is in chat right now watching.
Oh, hi.
Also, Stevie said, "Despite the technical issues, this is one of your best interviews." Aw.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Stevie.
Go, girl. You know.
Well, people like seeing people who are authentic and honest because a lot of times people are afraid to divulge that kind of information.
Right.
Did you ever
Definitely.
did you
Yeah.
ever find it hard to did you hesitate to come out on the internet with that or were you just kind of like.
Not see when you get to a certain age, I think it's like you got nothing to lose. This is how I felt. Like I would never do this ever when I was younger, but I said, you know what? Fuck it all. You know what? I'm just going to be me and I'm going
Mhm.
to put it all out there. And everyone, people are going to hate you no matter what
Yep.
you do. I
Yeah.
don't care. So I said, you know what? I don't care. If you hate me, you don't like it, you think I'm crazy, you think whatever you want to think. It doesn't matter to me. At my age, I said, I'm just going to just let it go,
Mhm.
and I'm going to just be me completely, warts and
Exactly.
all. I'm just gonna let it go and tell people who I really am for once in
Mhm.
my life before I die.
Yeah, yeah.
You
That's so
know?
funny because I had, like, this exact same mentality where I was like, "It's true, people are gonna like or not like you. I'd
Yep,
rather just
exactly.
be,
Yep.
like, fully honest in hopes that I can actually genuinely connect with people," and even
In a
comes with
real
that risk of,
way.
people are not gonna like me no matter what, so, but I definitely get that,
And
just
that's
wanting to be like, "Hey, this is me. I'm gonna just live in my truth and
right.
share my truth and see how people react to it," and so far, I feel like I've met a lot of awesome people and had all these cool conversations, sometimes with people I've been watching, like, their channels before, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, now we're talking, it's crazy. It's trippy
Yeah, you
stuff.
do. You really interview very well. So I think, yeah, interviewing more people will only increase your channel,
Mhm.
because you're a fabulous interviewer,
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm a curious person, so I love hearing about especially just, like, the people I come across online because it's like, we're probably thousands of miles apart. Who knows, like,
I'm in from
we would
Boston.
never cross
Boston.
oh, then we're not really, we're not that far actually.
No.
But still, like,
Yeah.
when would we ever cross paths except to stumble
No.
on each other on the internet and
Right.
then, be able to have, like, a really interesting and, like, vulnerable conversation about, some real shit that people deal with, and, I wanted to really talk about the stigma that is around borderline. And what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you're passionate about reducing the stigma.
Right. A lot of people think that borderline's a cookie cutter, that every single borderline has exact same symptoms, and that's not true. Okay. Like self-harm. I know a lot of borderlines. One of the classic symptoms is cutting themselves. All right. I never cut myself. I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone, or I'm just saying that I've never done that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I've self-harmed other ways, of course, drinking and driving, and things like risky behavior is
Yeah. Yeah.
like
I've done
that.
that.
But I never done that. What other ones? Being suicidal, except for
Mm-hmm.
that one night when I found out about my son being beaten. I lost it that night. But other than that, I've never been suicidal. And that's another major, symptom of borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So those two things I don't have. But
Mm-hmm.
I have it's like a broken thermostat. It's either 100 degrees or 0 degrees. I either love you or I hate you,
Mm-hmm.
It's like all or nothing. And I get very upset easily.
Yeah. That was really hard for me being on trying to be supportive to borderline friends because they would switch their perception of me.
Yeah.
I was either, the best person in the
Right.
world,
Your best friend in the
but the
world.
second something went wrong, it's like you're an evil monster,
Yep.
or like,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's what it was hard for me to come back from some of those fights, and
Oh,
even
you're
at the
not
moment, I'm not
the only.
speaking to one of my friends because of a fight we had. And it's,
Yeah.
and I've had other borderline friends too. And I kind of felt like I had this resentment, and I don't want to, resent anyone, especially for something that's not in their control.
Right. But it's very hard to get along at times with someone like me. I admit it. It's very hard to
Mhm.
get along, to be a best friend or to be a lover or something with someone with this disorder.
Yeah, but I try to empathize about what that's like for you shifting in those, like, that's a terrible as hard as it is for me to be called evil. Like, it's probably harder for the person who's actually going through that episode because they're feeling
Right.
extreme. To them, it is as real as anything. It's a betrayal. Like,
Right.
you these
It's
little
so
minor letdowns turn into like these big betrayals.
Yep. Yep. It's like a lot of drama. You're frozen.
No,
Yeah.
why is this? I don't know why my internet is just like sucking today. Of course.
But yeah, it's like if you say something, I'll ruminate about what you said. Don't worry, you haven't said anything. But like if we're friends and you say something, I don't know, something like you think is innocent, like, oh, I don't like that dress too much on you. It makes your waist
Mhm.
kind of, like something you don't even think of what that it was hurtful. And then I start getting angry. I don't talk to you. You don't, and you
Mm,
can't understand, like, what the hell? What I do now?
yeah. Yeah, it's a roller coaster being friends with these types. But
Oh, definitely.
I would kind of learn to, like, I've made it work for long periods of it, at a time. But when I have my own mental health issues, like when I relapsed and when I disappear, that also is very hard because the borderline person will feel abandoned by me choosing drugs because it's choosing that over them. It's choosing you know that over everything. Unfortunately, is how it played out in my life. But I try to the reason I wanted to talk about borderline is because it's like kind of a meme on the internet. Like, people are like love making fun of like the borderline, like there's a stereotype of like the crazy borderline ex-girlfriend, and it also has a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh, yeah.
almost like misogyny baked in because it's like attributed to being a very like female condition, even though I've had male friends with it too who act
Right.
like the same way. But I do feel like I don't know if
Like
it's just diagnosed more in
you're
women
too
or
emotional, you're too sensitive, you're
yeah.
overreacting. You get that kind of thing from people all the time too. Yeah. So it is, and also the media has stigmatized it. Have you ever seen Fatal Attraction? The movie?
Not in years. I know the movie. I've definitely
There
seen
must
it
be
at some
another
point, but I
one.
forget.
Yeah, it is like the media has, given it a bad rap.
Yeah, yeah. it reduces it, and it doesn't give empathy to the fact that these are people truly suffering,
Yeah.
and the reason, I've been looking into the different like causes and ideas of what causes this, and it's like has a lot to do with your early childhood development, has a lot to
Bingo.
do
Yep.
with even like your genetics can play a role. So it's like a combination of all of these things that were never, no one chooses that, you just got a bad deck of cards, and you have to make the best of it, and sometimes you just have to realize like I'm a little quirky, I'm a little different, but maybe I don't need medicine to manage it. Like, I'm trying to find out still to see how I do over the next few weeks is gonna probably let me decide if I need, any other kind of mood stabilizer. Just because I've been having mood swings, but I'm also like PMSing right now, so that makes everything
Oh yeah.
so much
Wait
worse.
till you're over that, over your cycle.
Dude,
And yeah, I know. I'm
I
menopausal now, so I don't have that worry.
I cannot wait because
Yeah.
I get really bad PMS, like, and I can usually handle it, but when I have other shit going on and the PMS and like, since I've been sad, I've been drinking a lot. Like last night, I was just like at my job, you get a shift drink, and my coworker just poured me like a cup of vodka, and I just like basically drank that. And then I went
Yeah.
to a bar and then was like just drinking there. And like for a while, I was just sitting crying alone. Like
Oh,
I
that's
was so
sad.
sad. But
Yeah.
whatever. This is nothing new. Me acting crazy in my city, nothing new. I try to just be like, you know what? Let's give the boring people something to talk about. I'm doing my best out here. I know
Right.
I'm kind of messy, but like I'm doing my best and I'm trying to
That's all we
improve
can
every
do.
day.
That's all we can do. We do our best,
Exactly. You
and our
know,
best is different from one day to the next. It's different. What your best
absolutely.
is today will be different from what your best is tomorrow. And you don't be try not to beat yourself up about it. Just try to do your best at that, even at that moment. That's all we can do.
Mhm.
And it's a one day at a time, just sometimes one moment at a time.
That's what I do. I literally do like 1 minute at a time. That's my like how I've currently been handling things. So I wanted to also ask you, I freaking love the poetry that you post on
Oh,
Twitter.
thank you.
Like I saw it and I wasn't sure if you were like copying it from something else, but like
No, that's all my
actually Giggler,
words.
my friend, my older brother was a poet. Giggler knew my older brother, but like your poetry reminds me of stuff that he wrote and even stuff that I wrote like for my songs. I like saw some similarities there, but it's just like, so do you just like write it in the tweet and tweet it out, or what's
I
your
hate
process
I
with that?
hate Twitter like that. I write poetry every day. I've got books published on Amazon, and I have my poems in literary magazines. I started writing in 2010 poetry um, as an outlet for my pain,
Mm-hmm.
other than just alcohol. So it was a better outlet, but I did
Yeah.
alcohol and the writing. So it was an outlet for my pain. That's how I started writing poetry.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, I found I've always kept like a journal since I was younger, and then throughout my teens and 20s I was a musician, so I was always writing songs, but a song is just a poem,
Yeah,
in
that's
most
what it is.
ways.
Yeah.
And when I was reading it, like what you're writing, that's why I sent you like some of my song lyrics, because it like reminded me a little bit of your style of poetry. It's talking almost like explicitly about like these inside experiences, and you
Right.
just have
That
a
was
really,
a poem I wrote about, yeah, my innards getting cut
but
and
yeah, like that's what you're describing, what it feels like in a way, that people can receive better than maybe in just words alone. That's what good art does. It conveys something that words alone can't convey,
I think every artist has, a wounded a wounded soul, a
Yep.
wounded heart. I think every artist has a wounded heart. That's where
Every artist that I've met for sure.
yeah, that's where, the creativity, grows out of those broken pieces.
Mhm.
It grows out of that, like the grass growing out of the cracks in the sidewalk. How you see
Yeah,
all the
finds a
grass?
way.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what it is for an artist. We're like the grass growing out of the cracks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That could be that is truly like a very healthy outlet, journaling, because
Yep.
sometimes, especially if I don't want to like burden my friends, it's a way for me to just write down my thoughts and look at them, and then I can kind of engage with them like one by
Right.
one and be like, is this rational? Am I being like, just kind of sort through what is a crazy thought and what's like a real thought,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
because it's hard to know what thoughts to trust and what impulses to trust and what instincts. Like, I've always followed my heart, but like lately it's been leading me astray,
I don't
so
follow my heart anymore. I follow my head.
maybe this is some wisdom that I need to learn from
Yeah,
you. No
and
more following the heart.
I just started doing that,
You
you
just
know,
started.
in the last 6 months or so, a year. I just started doing that, and I find myself much better off doing that personally.
I'm gonna have to switch it up because the heart thing is not working out
I
for me.
probably do
So
it too much. There's probably like a healthy balance. You know what I mean?
yeah, true. I know. I didn't date or do anything of that nature for like literally like 8 years. So it's like it's hard to put yourself out there again. But so how long have you been with your husband?
Since I was 18. We got married when I was 22. Yeah, like something like 40 years together.
Good
Yeah,
for fucking you guys. That is so rare these days.
I know it is. But we had a lot of ups and downs, like I said.
Imagine. I can imagine,
Yeah,
But the fact that you're able to still find each other and come back to each other and maintain a relationship that's supportive for that long is
right. He's
amazing.
been my rock.
I'm very glad you've had that, like, going through this. That's got to be
Right,
a big thing because with the borderline, it is a lot of like knowing that you have someone, that you
right.
can
Yeah.
really that seems
Someone
to be like
who's
a very stabilizing thing to have that
stable and
one.
consistent.
Mhm,
Borderlines need stability,
exactly.
consistency, not someone who, flip flops, someone who's consistent.
Hmm. Wow,
Yeah.
that's so amazing you guys found that and you're able to start like a beautiful family. And I think that's good for people to see the nuances of living with a mental health condition. It's not all bad. We find our way. We find a way to make lives and to, be okay with that and to try to do better. You've made a decent life for yourself. I'm
Yep.
working on making a decent life for myself and I have full confidence I'll be able to do it, so it's a journey. Oh, nice. Someone in chat said, "Did you relapse the other night?" That's for me.
Oh, okay.
I
Do you mind
I've been clean.
before you answer
I've
that?
been
Do you
clean from
mind
fentanyl for since June, but I have had 2 lapses in the last year where I did smoke crack. So that was bad because I'm not like 100% sober. I still drink and smoke weed, but I did fuck up and buy crack twice. That did happen. but I'm not letting it bring me down. I'm bouncing back, back on track. Not doing that anymore because that's a horrible. I hope you never get into like hard stuff like that because that really exasperates the mental health stuff for sure. Insanely so. But so I do share a lot on my channel and I share that like, yeah, I have relapsed before and here's me bouncing back and staying on track, like a relapse doesn't mean an instant spiral and everything's over, it's like it it depends on how you handle it. It's how you handle it is everything. And I handled it by not going back. It wasn't even worth it. I was just drunk and depressed and, I made a mistake, but, back on track. So
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Mhm.
It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It happens to everyone.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. But so you found I'm glad that it seems like you are in like a good spot. And I found YouTube to be very therapeutic also because it's like
Yeah.
a place to like focus creative energy. And especially if you're talking about your own issues, it forces you to like, talk them out like you would with a therapist.
Right.
And I know what, like, not all therapy, I'm not against therapy. I might try to find a new one, but like people like me and Sandra have had bad experiences with them. So it's not for everyone. And for some people, it can exasperate a condition.
Yeah.
But
It did
I
with
do
me.
recommend that everyone try every resource available to see what, helps
What's
that
best for
individual
them?
person.
What's best for them? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done any kind of like support groups or things
No.
of that nature? No. I,
Um,
I like I've done like AA and stuff and I found it helpful at times, but it's a
I
little
hate AA.
okay. Listen, I have
Oh,
mixed feelings towards it because like for a while my dad was in AA and he was living in a sober house for like 6 years and like those were some happy times for us because it was like the only clean period he had. So I saw it work for him for a time, and not so much anymore. But it's a tool as any other. It helps some people, but it can
Right.
be definitely its own very toxic. Like anytime I go to a meeting, I kind of feel like it's a dating scene. All these like old guys walk up to me like, "Hey, do you want to talk to like, oh, if you're struggling, call me. Like I'm
Yeah,
sad too."
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
dude, you're that's exploitative, honestly. Like
yeah.
I'm here like trying to find support to get clean. I can't count the amount of times I tried to get support and it just blew up in my face, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
calling hotlines that never answer, calling hospitals that just shove you around to the next one. Like, it's insane the lack of help out there. And actually, I was posting earlier on my Twitter about how I think that we really need to bring back like institutions for like the people who are seriously mentally ill so that they have, because now they're on the street,
That's horrible. Yeah.
and that's for like the people who have serious like profound schizophrenia or like profound bipolar 1 who can't function without assistance are just on the street struggling and self-medicating often, but I'm curious, how do you feel about like institutions and things of that nature? Do you think?
Well, I don't want people on the street. I think that's worse
Yeah,
than anything. Uh,
exactly.
it's all about having good quality health care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to reform the system because I
Right.
think people are
Exactly.
realizing that what's happening right now isn't helping, and the rates of mental illness and challenges, it's all climbing, especially with like the like Gen Z. The numbers are crazy for the mental health issues that they're struggling with.
Right.
Also, my friend wants to know, I don't know if you're into astrology, but my friend wants to know, what sun sign is Sandra's husband? And Sandra, LOL,
I'm a
sorry.
Cancer. I'm a Cancer. My husband's a Virgo. Okay.
That will mean something to her. I'm an Aquarius. I never followed astrology. Except every once in a while, like read my horoscope for fun.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious to learn more about it. Just why not? It's like fun.
Do you mind if I cut out now? Because
Yeah, of
I
course. Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
how
yeah.
long this interview will
Oh
be.
yeah, yeah. Usually like something around an hour. So that's perfect. We're coming up on like 50 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, I
Because
really appreciate your
I gotta
time.
make dinner.
Yeah, yeah. I
I,
appreciate you making the time, and I think we went over a lot in this conversation, so I really do
right.
appreciate it.
And I appreciate you for inviting me,
Of
and
course, and we'll
being
be in
such a
touch, and I'm gonna
great.
keep writing the poetry. I really like it.
Yeah, and I subscribe to your channel.
Oh,
So
yay! All
yeah,
right, I'll be watching your videos too. Okay.
yeah, cool. All right.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Oh wait, do you have a Twitter you want to shout out? What's your? It's
Sandra
uh
Wyllie. I think
yeah. So if
everything's
people
under
just look up
Sandra
Sandra
Wyllie.
Wyllie on Twitter, you can find her, and on YouTube.
Right,
Just,
Sandra Lee Wiley on the YouTube. Sandra
mhm.
Lee, Lee Wiley, Wyllie. Yeah, yeah.
All right, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, and I'll be in touch.
Okay, same here. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Oh.